Hello everyone, welcome back. BogMod here, and yeah, we're playing Cold Steel 4 again. Like I said, I've had some thoughts about how Act 2 ended. First of all, I want to reiterate, the reveal of Oliver and the music and showing up and kicking some butt, that was great. I loved that. That was solid. The Radiant Whole Wings, his speeching, all fantastic. But. Oh, poor Muse. Like I've said before, the character who plans 1,000 moves ahead is brilliant in unfathomable ways type character. It's hard to do as a protagonist. Much easier to do as a villain. Alright? Because they can always have escape plans when things go poorly. Thus letting them be a continuous foe, no matter how often you thwart them. But as a hero, it's a little more complicated. So let's talk about it. First of all, our master of 4D chess, Muse, right, who predicted that Ouroboros might show up, that it predicted that they could see all this coming, yada yada. Her grand, brilliant answer to everything was, maybe the enemy would be close enough and they could smash their ship into their ship and maybe do some damage. And kill themselves off in the process. And like, if that's what your super genius can only come up with, that is not a reassuring sign. Like, you don't need to have. There's no need to play up her as being some sort of super genius at any point in this, especially with how they've constantly done her bad with that sort of thing, right? But here's the thing, right? If she had, actually at this point of the game, I don't think it would have been up. But like, you know, if Ouroboros had shown up and she'd anticipated that and had a successful counter that put them on the ropes or even drove them off, that would display her intelligence. But again, then it becomes like, why is Reem the one leading this group? Or she should be definitely involved in actively running and organizing and picking our next goals, which we can't have, so she has to lose. Now that's part of the problem. Next, I want to kind of just talk on why, to me at least, their plan, what they did with it, was just dumb in the first place. Putting it on the border was a bad idea. Again, it set up a possible confrontation with the military of Erebonia. Now, they said, oh, the military would hesitate. The problem there is the game has already played its hand about the curse. We've seen people suddenly go, you know what? No, let's just kill these innocent civilians. The idea that some guys manning the ship might then go, you know what? No. Let's just open fire. Totally possible, right? We know that it can manipulate fate. We saw it doing things like people forgetting, or the whole letter thing in Ordis, right? It doesn't even have to make people go suddenly violent. It could easily just, manipulate some errors to cause a conflict. And, they're on the border. With the way the curse had been working, you're just putting yourself in its area of effect. They should have done it in Calvard. Used their magic fleet to fly into Calvard, and then had their meeting there. Yeah, that's what they should have done. Then there's their plan which was Erebonia is on. We know Erebonia is cursed and violent, and they're planning a major conquest, and then they're going to try and conquer the world. Cool. Her galaxy brain move, right? Is like, what if we fought them, and we had the guy running the allied armies that are against them be the best general we've got? I mean, she doesn't need to be some sort of mega genius for any of that. That's a very low tier kind of thinking. Being like, we should oppose the people who want to conquer everything. Maybe ally against them. And maybe have a talented general be in charge. It's not... The misinformation thing was also kind of weird. Because, like... like, no, we can't shoot down terrorist airships or we'll get blamed for things somehow. They can blame anything. Erebonia has pretty good control of their media right now. You weren't going to get... Whatever they say about you, you're not going to be getting in contrary facts. Alright? So yeah, so those are some things. So like I said, I loved Oliver's save. They did ultimately, though, waste it. They ruined the moment, really. So Oliver does his big save, right? We're halfway through the game, and at every step, really, so far, it has all felt like everything is just another part of their plan. They've been letting us get away with it, etc., etc., etc. We could have used a win here, like a solid win. But what did they do? What did we have happen? He shows up. He seems to turn the tide. And then they're like, you know what? Screw it. We're going to still do this. They have their super ions. It seems like, well, they still have the edge. And then who saves the day? The antagonists. Osborn's like, actually, let's not do this fight, everybody. We're calling it off. It was never meant to be a fight in the first place. It's just, a fun little to-do. Which, here's the problem with that. Ultimately, Oliver's big show-off, big reveal, didn't do anything. Osborn was always gonna stop things before they got out of hand. The attack was never meant to go forward in the first place. Like Rutger even mentioned, the rivalries have to happen at the Spirit Shrine. So he was definitely going to be like, hey, wait a minute, no. We're not actually going to have this fight happen now. Cool your jets, everybody. So, and then on top of that, the villagers are like, oh, by the way, here's our plan. Here's your timeline. Go ahead and wander the country. That's totally fine. Again, like, come on. If the villains have no concern about us, and consistently they've been played right, that they don't need to be concerned about us, it's like, well, okay, cool. I guess we're going through their plan, or we can't accomplish anything, or whatever. It's not hardening, right? They knew what was going on. They didn't really care. They're like, oh, you're uniting the entire world against us. Meh. It doesn't actually change our plans. It's not a complicating factor. We don't need to stop it. In fact, we'll go out of way to tell you our battle plans, let you know the day it's going to happen. We didn't need that, right? This could have been a good moment to be like, hey, No, no, no. Oliver could have shown up and driven them off. They could have been like, we can't risk losing our ship here. We should pull back. Cedric could have maybe ranted and been like, no, we can still do this. And they'd be like, it's not happening, Your Highness. We can't do this. Yeah, that would probably have been a good idea to try and blame everything on Cedric just being a hothead. Then we could have had a win without necessarily compromising how strong they wanted Ouroboros and the Ironbloods to be by just putting it all to Cedric getting out of hand. Next part. Great rules! New great rules! Or, not great rules. New rules about the Great Twilight. Just kind of pop it in. Again, really late into the game. Did I miss something? I honestly asked this. Was there any kind of indication that we needed some sort of special magical herald to start the Great Twilight? We've already killed a giant super mega beast and unleashed a curse. We have a war. Why do we need a herald? Why does it have to be the former strongest in the country? A now crippled, lung-damaged swordsman. We knew Aurelia was stronger than him back in Cold Steel 3. If they needed the strongest, it should have been her. Building on that, why then put him in on the special mask? And then just be like, oh no, actually this is just the curse on his brain. Even though both prior times, the masks have been important and special and related to why the other party is against us. Like we saw with Angelica. It's needlessly being like, hey, wait a minute, why should we believe him when he's wearing the crazy mask? Complicates things. Aurelia's threat, though, was kind of hilarious. I know I laughed out loud at that, but it was kind of dumb. Our plan is going to be to commit suicide by smashing our ship into the other ship. Oh, so you have to leave. We're not going to leave. Well, if you don't leave, I will kill you before we kill ourselves smashing them into the ship. Oh! Well, I guess we have no choice then to let you... Then we'll leave. It's like, what? No. First, she was never going to hurt a single one of you. We knew it. They had to know it. The idea that they backed down on it. Again, like, if she doesn't follow through with her threat, they die. If she follows through with her threat, they die. It was a meaningless, stupid move on her part. Mil Mirage. So yeah, here's the other problem with that, and her 40 big brain plan. It had no end goal. It had no resolution. It had no objective. It was a stalemate at plan at best. They never addressed how it was going to deal with the curse, about how to overcome the technological deficiency. At best, they consigned and that would be fine. They could have done this. Here's the way they could have done it. If she had committed to this plan, and here's kind of where I think that they could have done her character a little better. Yuzei should have been the one to be going with this plan and trying to properly adopt this idea of her being the genius. She should have been the one to be like, okay, all we can do is slow things down and buy us some time. That is what the plan will do. Embrace that idea, right? Own it, and be like, but there is more going on that we don't know about. This plan will give us the time to find out what is really happening, and hopefully we can use that to actually resolve the war, right? Just admit it. We're not going to win this war. We can't win it under normal means. The plan isn't intended to do that. It is entirely a holding action. Right? Embrace it. These soldiers are going to sacrifice their lives to give us the chance to find a real solution. On top of that, to again kind of give her that idea of giving her that actual brilliance, this would have been also a decent chance for... She could have known about Oliver. She could be very sorry about it afterwards. But, you know, so they put it in Calvard, so they know they're safe from... Let me kind of play this out for you. They have the meeting in Calvard. Why do they have the meeting in Calvard? The Erebonian military can't interfere, right? She explains this. So we can see we can see the thought process at play. The Glorious, right? Ouroboros shows up, and they do their stuff, right? We get the upper hand. Okay, we get the upper hand. Ouroboros then deploys their ions, right? Then she can be like, aha! I expected this too. And then she plays her ace in the hole. And the Courageous Mark II shows up. Takes out one of the ions. Right? Doesn't have to take out all three. Takes out one of them. Right? Ouroboros and the Prince's guys are like, crap. We misjudged what was going on. We misjudged this. We gotta pull back at it. We gotta pull back. We gotta retreat. And they let them go, because even if they push the fight, while they may win, the idea is that it would still cost the protagonists to push the fight against them right then and there. Right? So they made the point, they got a win, nobody gets killed, because that's not this kind of game. They blow up a robot. She gets to show off her intelligence, we get a win. Cedric could even get a smug, try to taunt in, and be like, well, you think you're safe, you think you've won? Well, in 6 days, the operation begins, and then we'll crush you, or whatever, right? You know, he could try, and he could have given us information that maybe he wouldn't have normally, as a mistake, as a taunt. The heroes could have outsmarted the villains for once, gotten a win, not a huge win, but you know, a definite. We actually outplayed them this time. Now this is touching on kind of what I think would have been a better use of Musée if they wanted to maintain this she's a genius angle, okay? Musée then should be the one to from a storyteller perspective. She should be the one who does the connecting the dots for us. Right? When there's something that the game wants us to pick up on, or a mystery they want us to be aware of, she should be the one voicing it. She should be the one asking the question. She should be the one going, hey, why were we fighting on Brownie Island? And then he could have explained, oh, you can't do the rivalries outside of that. Or she could have just been the flat one to be like, hey, to have deduced that somehow, right? You know, they talked about the shrines. She could have maybe brought up the point about the prior battles between the Ions and the characters, why that didn't work. She should be the one actively being like, hey, we don't know stuff here. We need to be the ones trying to figure that sort of thing out. Then it doesn't have to be her. Then she can still be outsmarted and outplayed and all that sort of stuff. But she can be used as that keep the player in the loop about all the schemes you're trying to maintain. Where things are important and what details you think they need to have. Because, like I said, or like been happening, a player of the game may not pick up on the idea. And I do honestly think, and if I'm wrong, right, maybe I am, a player may not pick up on the idea that, hey, wait a minute, Osborn's done a lot of stuff that if you were just interested in power and conquering the world, don't make a lot of sense. Why is that? But a player might not pick up on that. A player might just see, he's a big baddie, he's up to no good. We gotta stop him. She could be that one voicing, hey, wait a minute, here's the thing Osborn has done. If he just wants to take over the world, why would he do that? There's got to be something more going on. And then the player could be like, hey, wait a minute, I didn't even think about that. That's an interesting clue. I wonder what they really are up to. She could be that mouthpiece, as it were, for the game devs to make sure that the player is on board with how the story is progressing, rather than trying to say, oh yeah, she's a super genius, and all she ever uses her super geniusness to do is to be able to say, I knew that was happening, and can do nothing about it. Because that's a terrible use of her in the smarty pants. Also, I guess the curse is a person now. I thought the idea was... Did I? I feel like I half knew that and half didn't know that. I thought like... obviously it was a person, because the two of them merged. Then they broke it up. So I guess I kind of thought like it was a person, but isn't now because it's been shattered and divided into the Divine Knights. Isn't that what happened? I think that's what happened. They broke the Great One into the various Divine Knights. That's why this thing has to happen to rebuild it. But I guess it still is also aware. That could have maybe been explained a little better. Also, if the curse is a person and is actively acting, for lack of a better word, it puts a lot of questions. I think it opens up a lot of questions that the game maybe we shouldn't be asking. Like, what does the curse know? How does it know these things? Are the people... Is it the one... So, like, those guys who went and decided they were going to shoot those people, was that the agency behind the curse actively intervening and trying to make that happen? Or was that just a thing? Was Victor being chosen a thing or an active decision? And what are its goals? Alright, there's a lot there they could have done more with. Anyhow, I realized that this rant took up a lot of time, and I'm sorry but here's the thing. I loved the Trails in the Sky games. I really did. The world they introduced, and the scheming, and the depth, I thought was great. Right? Loved the characters. It was good. Cold Steel 1 and 2, same idea. I thought, they're going a little more serious this time. Right? That makes sense, right? The players who started the series are a little older now. Now it's a story about class warfare and the politics changing how a society changes. On top of, what's an evil society like Ouroboros going to be doing and all that sort of stuff. Right? More mature themes, if you will. But then we get into Game 3 and 4, and it's a very different story now, but I'm already, I'm invested. The world, it's trying to be smart. It's trying to be intelligent. It's trying to weave a grand tale, and, which is fine, and you kind of try to set it up for that, but then you have to make sure that if you're making for the grand tale, you really hit those right notes, or there's going to be some problems. Oh. It's a lot of character notes. So many people. Oh, and quests? Oh, no quests yet. But I'm assuming we're going to get some sub-quests later on. Hey, Angelica. Top of the line, next generation stuff. It's got stealth capabilities. Yeah, don't think we need those, honestly. Full of cuties like Toe and Cheetah is a good start. Well, Angelica, you've... Yeah, that might be... We may need a restraining order on you, Angelica. I have a long talk about consent. Hey guys, good to see you all. Pure, dead, brilliant, don't you think? This is the first time I heard the Der Flinger. You knew my heart belonged to the railways, but fate of the machine is beautiful. I have an eye can be tempted to stray. Know what you mean, Pablo? I'm having trouble taking it all on myself. You three are running the bridge. We can. We're sort of learning on the fly. Tanya and I are heading up comms and observation. On engineering side, we've got me and Tita. The man sees men of the guns. The other government tactics folk chipping in to help. You though, we hold up the workshop most of the time. I'm helping Miss Mint out with anything she needs. Alright, cool. Leonora's gonna be the co-pilot. Oh, Leonora, you're gonna get harassed so much. For the leadership seems great, but you gotta give the helm to someone with no bends or soldat experience. Anywho, the ship is too cool. Like that without anyone else catching wind of it. Makes proud than ever to be a student of Thor's. She's the odds we gained from our feelings in real life situation this soon. It's only kind of a bit of a whim, but I've been blessed with fantastic friends and a incredible place to be. Aw, well, I'm glad you're here too, Valerie. I'm going to let this episode go a little longer than normal, because you had to tolerate, and I hope you don't take this the wrong way, that I'm just trying to, this game sucks. The game has such potential. All the elements are there. It's, for lack of a better word, that I'm disappointed in how they've ended up having to use them. Oliver cheers out. I'm myself, but I'm so glad you're both okay. You're together. Nothing can make me happy right now. Thanks, Alf and I. Don't push you through hell. Sorry that I haven't been in touch. I should inform you before anyone. That was my failing for you. Silly. That wound, my brother wasn't going anywhere for a while, right? So much for helping with his recovery. Oh, how did you honor me with your magnanimity? Truly. She is definitely a memory I'll treasure forever. Though she did give me one legendary purple nurple when I suggest she ditch the spoon and use her mouth instead. Goodness! So help me, Adios. Olivier, if you're about to 3 seconds away from finding out what life is like with 0 eyes. Aww. Look who it is. Hello there, Reen. Anywhere on the place? Yeah, it's an incredible ship. I'd like to introduce myself. Nonetheless, I'm Reen Schwartz. Good to meet you, Sherazard. And what about you? Sounds like you've been to Gehenna and back more times than one. You're not done yet, it would seem. And then Reen's like, oh, I'm sure everyone else has it worse than me. Seems to be the order of the day for those who call Erebonia home. At the very least, it's made us a tough people. Tough, cursed people. But no matter where you're from, I'm glad to be allies just the same. Estelle, Agate, and now you. Turned for the worst for a long time now. The Silver Streak. Never did want to be outdone by the Purple Lightning. Oh yeah, a little rivalry between the bracers. I think you've been pretty focused on that for a while now, haven't you? same age. She was the youngest bracer ever to reach A rank when she did. She always had a reputation as a force to be reckoned with. Even Cassius relied on her. It didn't make me a little jealous, I have to say. So fantastic, though. I admire you, Shadow. We have a closer relation with his friends now. I can believe it. Once I came to Erebor, the two of us actually met. We nearly hit it off. They do like their drinking. This is an accurate summation. Yours and those of the masculine persuasion could be any more different, though. Yeah, she's got a thing for silver foxes, huh? The winds of change are trying to blow across that particular plane. Yes, Reen. I mean, come on. Couldn't you see Sarah being like, Cassius. Okay. This. So this is like, Alphen. I think Oliver has this well in hand. Yeah, they are adults. Let them have their own relationship. What's that? Oh, that's the magic cell phone. The sonorous seashell, Mr. Debaucher's prince snuck it in. Selecting the device, I discovered some runes on a visit with the Bracer Guild 10 years ago. It's magic. It's magic ancient tech. Per total suggestion, like your arc says, by the round of 7 app, a foundation made for you. Control to set up this, then. We have flawless communications with connections with everyone involved with the Radiant Wings. Alright. But I think the Septian Church collected all artifacts that are still functional. After with the Growser, we managed to come to an agreement of sorts. Alright. Alright, fair enough. So the church's like, well, we'll let you have it. We got some rules. Okay. So fortunate are we that a man of his elegance and skill walks upon this earth. Fair. So it is drifting further and further astray. We can't back think how things were. But friendship does everything. Friendship. Your Highness, have you considered friendship? I mean, yeah. Crow died. In theory, he was gonna die a second time by fading into nothingness. He would rather have killed a man with a gun than maintain his friendship and not lie to his friends. But we still went after him. So friendship.
I'm just as glad as you to see him alive again. But feelings such as that are only for the weak.
That sounds like a man in need of friendship.
We're ending this world and creating a new order in its place. And an undertaking this great leaves me no room for weakness.
Again, like, that's his bit. That maybe is as far as he understands the plan. But we've been put under the impression that once the curse is everywhere, it'll turn on everybody and destroy the world. Again, so then what is their plan to end the curse and their new order? It needs detail work. He's pushing himself too far. His infatuation with the Chancellor is pretty clear. But I doubt his resolve as one of the Iron Bloods is really so firm. Or his Divine Knight Awakener, for that matter. Oh, Oliver, you silly fool! Never give up hope. And friendship! He is royalty, after all. Some family meet and greet you're after, Cher. You need only ask. Mother, father, two of you's are covered. Let's get down now, shall we? Meeting the parents, Cher. Oh, good luck. I don't blame you. Your brother turned out to be alive. That is super good news. I must proceed carefully. It's like, maybe I can just go see him right now. In fact, yeah, they said we could go see him. I guess you gotta do this other thing first. Alright, well, like I said, I'm talking to Kurt! Alright, we gotta do that next time. We'll do that next time, everyone. Thank you for watching. Thank you again for listening to my thoughts on this. Like I said, I don't want to just complain of the game. I thought I offered a way they could have tried to make it better, but yeah. Game 4 has had some storytelling elements that have really needed some work, in my opinion. And I hope you understand my reasonings. But with that, well, have a good night, and I'll talk to you all later.